Hey everybody, what's up? Today we are going to be taking a look at solving an issue that I found on my blog post or my blog site with the posts. Pretty much says it here. I'm going to change up the way we're doing things a little bit. In the past, I've been just kind of showing you the code and giving you the links to the GitHub. So this one we're going to go through and do it like you should, basically. I'm not only going to focus on the coding, but also like the process for using Git and branching, stuff like that. Um, so we're in my GitHub here for the website. We've got an issue. We can read this. Pretty straightforward. The ULs are not showing up properly, right? So let's show an example of this. Here is a blog post that I made recently that this uses um, a list, right? This is a unnumbered list. By default, Tailwind takes all the styles off of these. There's reasons for it. I'm not going to go into it here, but we're using Tailwind, so we got to play nice with it as much as we can, or at least try at first. So that's what we're going to do here. So this is, you can see it's causing a problem, right? By the bullets not being here, it's kind of like, wait, what? There's these incomplete sentences that are just kind of listed here. What's going on? Right? Even my poor grammar is freaking out here. So this turns out to actually be fairly easy to deal with. So before we get into that though, let's follow the proper procedure here, right? So we have an issue that has a number. It's also got a description, right, or a title. So let's jump over to VS Code. Let's close out everything right now. I like to always start with a clean slate. So you see right now we're on the main branch and we are up to date. Just in case, let's do a pull. There we go, we're up to date. So now we're going to create a new branch. So check out -B. This will create a new branch. And I like to just kind of stick to whatever my management system calls it. So in this case, issues, right? Because we're using GitHub. And then slash the issue number 50. This is what I like to do because now you have a one-to-one relationship, branches to issues. It's real easy to correlate them now. So yep, you can see now we're on issues 50. So now that we've got a branch set up, we can actually start to do our work. So if we jump back to our issue, let me zoom in a little bit. It might not be easy for you guys to read. There we go. So this is a proposed solution. I did a little bit of poking around and played with this before writing this up to see how difficult it would be. And I found that I was able to add this rule in and get them to show. So back in VS Code now, we are going to take a look at our blog page. So one thing we'll notice here, oh, this is the wrong page. First of all, this is the blog index page, right? So this one is actually going to show, this is going to list the posts we can see here. Right, so we want this one with the slug on it. So this guy is using a different layout, right? Not much going on here. It's all hidden away in this layout. So immediately we can see the blog posts have their own base layout file. It's got its own head and everything. So what we could do is take our rule that we figured out earlier, and then I'm going to put it into practice. We're using SCSS here. There's one other thing we want to do as well. So we want to use this directive, is inline. What this does is pretty much what it sounds like. It's going to say that this style tag is inline. Pretty nice flow there, right? Style is inline. I mean, reads even better if you put it over here, right? Style is inline. The language is SCSS. That's a pretty beautiful thing right there. That is so expressive, right? So, excuse me. Anyway, what this is going to do is make it inline. So when the preprocessor for Rastra runs through, it's going to put this as an inline style tag in the head right here where it exists already in our template. Normally this would be run through their preprocessor, and you would get like a unique name. Like a lot of other these frameworks, they give a unique name to the components and stuff. It's generated, there's a scheme for it, that kind of stuff. We don't want that here. We want this to be inline and applied to that whole page. So now that we've got that saved, let's go ahead and run this and test it out. Right? We always want to test our code. So we're up and running locally. Let's open that up and we'll switch back over to Chrome. So cool, there's our site. Let's go to the blog. And this page we know has, right? So here's the one that's actually hosted, and here's our branch that we're working on. So again, so let's scroll down, and there we go. We're getting our styles. So we drill in, see nothing changed here, it's not applying any classes here, but there it is. And if we click on this, it takes us to the rule, which is here, and there's our inline style tag. Pretty cool. All right, so I think that wraps everything up as far as what we need to do, right? This was a simple task. Let's go back and review. Right. We want our blog posts to retain the bullet points, right? So let's go back to VS Code. And what I like to do is, of course, stop the build, or stop the debugging session. And then I like to close all of these. The reason I do that is that makes sure that you don't have any unsaved changes or anything like that. Now that we're here, there's a couple ways to do it. So there's this built-in Git control. This isn't bad. I don't like some of the stuff that it does, though. So if you want, there's nothing wrong with adding it here and using the commit. You can also do commands, right? So we'll add that, right? Now if we do a status, there it is, and you can see it reflected over here. We'll do a commit, let's say, and we'll add default, styles back to UL. That works. Okay. Do another status check. Got nothing, but now we need to push up our changes. Okay. So this is one thing. If you push from here, it's going to go ahead and do this for you. And if you didn't do it ahead of time, you can always just copy paste this. That's pretty much what all of us do. I type git push and then let it do that, copy paste it for me, because I'm not the quickest typer, and half the time I just forget that it's a new branch. So now if we do status again, you can see we're on issues 50. We're up to date with issues 50. So now we're done with our work in here. One more thing I'll point out is this is pretty cool. It gives you a little link here to go in and create a new pull request. That's pretty slick. So let's go ahead and click on that. And now you can see we've got a screen to open a new pull request. It's already set up with our branch. We've got a title in here that matches our commit message. If we wanted to add more of a description here, then we could. I don't really think it's necessary here. It's pretty straightforward, small story. So if we look good, so let's go ahead and create the pull request. Now I've got some stuff hooked up here that's going to run automatically. So you can see we've got some checks that haven't completed yet, so we're not going to be able to merge this guy yet. I guess we could override it, but you don't want to do that. It's generally not a good idea to override these checks. They're here for a reason, right? So we've got CI/CD hooked up. So basically what it's going to do is run through and try and build and then deploy. I have environments set up in this static web app, so we can actually check out the pull request. This is pretty neat. So let's go check out the portal, and we'll see blah 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 web app environments. So here's our main. We don't have anything for preview environments yet because this guy's still running. So we can, if we want to look at the details. So we're still running. Oh, we got some warnings here. Nah, no big deal, some silly little stuff. We're running through. Oh, looks like that just finished. Cool. Got a green light. So now if we come back here, you can see we got green lights. We come in here and refresh. Now we'll have, shows you the branch and everything. Pretty good integration. I mean, you would expect that considering they're both owned by the same company. But now you can see, here's our branch slot. I guess these are similar to like slots, right? So deployment slots, that is. So we'll come to the blog, there's a page, and we can see it's working. So now that we've tested, we have confirmed that it works in prod as well with our deployment slot. So then we can come back here and, oh, I forgot one thing. In the description, this is actually really useful. So if you have an issue tied to it like this, to the pull request, you just type closes, oops, and then pound, and here you go. So everything comes up there. We can hit enter or just type 51. Now save that, squash and merge, confirm. Pull request successfully merged and closed. There you go. And now it's safe to delete the branch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. No reason to keep those branches around once they've been merged. I guess there might be some cases to not, but generally you don't want to keep them around. There's no need for that. Did it not close? I missed it. I put it in the wrong area, I guess, so we'll go ahead and close it out from here. So now we can see it's marked completed. I missed it before. So next time, if you guys are doing this, when you do the pull request, let's say we're going to do another one. What we would do is come in. I don't even have another branch to to be able to compare it with right now. So here, let's push this guy again, just so we can give you something. Right. So we do something like this. We'd say create, and then in here closes number 51, something like that. It's pretty cool. There's some other, trying to remember where the rest of it. Yeah, here we go, closing keywords. So you can do stuff like this, closes, close, closed. All of these will trigger. Excuse me, all those will trigger the same thing, same action, right? It's going to close that. And there's some cool stuff you can do with that in here. If you want more info, definitely check it out. This always shows up down here. Let's see, so we don't want to create this. We don't need a draft either. Let's just get out of here. And now that's it. So we can take a look at the actions. And we can see that now deploy web app to Azure static web apps number 30, pull request 51 was closed. And if we look now, we'll see our changes. Layouts, blog post. There's our rule. And now if we look at our main site, refresh, should have deployed by now, and yep, there it is. So now you can see this is our production site, and there's our fix in place. Well, that is how you do development. It is my favorite way. It keeps everything tightly coupled as far as like branches to the issues, right? And you don't want to include changes that don't actually go along with that thing, right? If you discover, like, let's say while we were going through this, we discovered some other issue, right? We don't want to just go ahead and fix it in this commit. The best thing to do is make a little note of it and then come back to it later. Ideally, what come back to it later means is come in here and create a new issue, put all the info in as much as you can. Then you would go through and repeat the same process like we just did. The reason for that is, I might at first thought, you might think that, well, hey, I saw the issue, I should just fix it, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, you should fix it, and we will. But this is a project that, like, let's assume you're in like a big organization, right? Let's say we had a lot of people contributing to this project. That's going to get really confusing, and it's going to get really hard to actually create releases, right? Like, we work in sprints often, so you can have some weird stuff happen where, well, not weird, but it's common for for a task to maybe go longer and miss a release window, right? And that shouldn't be a big deal. The only reason that is a big deal is when you don't follow these rules. So if, for example, we had, two tasks like like what we just did with fixing the bullet points on the blog posts. I'll say that's one thing. And then there's another issue with like, I don't know, let's say the card flips don't work, right, on this page or something. They don't actually flip on mouse over. Let's say the flip doesn't work. And we noticed that while we were, in here or something. Let's say, or even better, when I was working on looking at this one, I actually screwed up and the path was wrong here, right? So this image wasn't showing. That's actually really closely related, but it's not the same thing. So we shouldn't go ahead and start working on that yet, but we do want to document it. So, stop what you're doing, go ahead and create a new issue, say what it is, put all the info in there that you can, and then go back to the work you were supposed to be doing, right? Like in this case, doing this. Then when you're done, you can move on to the next issue. And to get back to my point about their releases, you could cherry pick now. So if we have a bunch of commits, I could put together a release that consists of all of these different changes, right? Like, so let's say, I don't know, let's pick a file. Pages maybe, services might be good. And then, oh, I forget, where's the history here? Yep, history. So all these changes have happened, right? And each commit, there's different changes that are grouped together, or different files. So if we look at this one, all of these were changed here. And this is a horrible example. This is exactly what you don't want to do, actually, because I mixed together a couple of things here. I found a bunch of things that I just wanted to fix, though, so I still wrapped them up in a branch, and I put them all together in a thing. But anyway, so there's going to be a lot of different changes and stuff. So if you are smart and you keep your commits small and scoped only to the changes that you're making, which means stick to the issues, right? Then you'd be able to just pick and choose, or cherry pick your commits and put together a release. And like I said, maybe somebody didn't finish their feature in time, but you still want a release, so you can put everything else out, but just leave that one, and then keep working on it. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. If you want to learn more about it, definitely check out branching strategies. So like Git branching strategies. Git flow is probably the most popular one, and it's basically what I just showed you guys here. They're talking about a DevOps branch here, but yeah, check this out. I'll go ahead and leave this link in there. I don't want to go too deep into it. We've already kind of gone off topic a little bit, but that's not the end of the world. So yeah, if you guys like this, give me a like and a subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me if I am an idiot, because I screw stuff up all the time. So yeah, anyway, hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.